Okay, so are parents that raise parents that raise their children Christian, aren't those children going to go to hell because they didn't choose Christ as their savior? Right? They say if you don't choose Christ as your savior, you will go to hell. Well, they didn't because you chose the religion for them. You chose Jesus Christ for them, right? They never made a choice or decision to be Christian. You sort of raised them from birth to be Christian, okay? And then that sort of leaves no space for them to genuinely or authentically choose Christ as their savior because they've sort of been influenced from birth. So parents that raise their kids, their children Christian, those they're gonna go to hell, right? It's kind of like those parents that put their kids into acting. Like they didn't want to be child actors. Their parents chose it for them because they're children. They can't make those decisions, that choice themselves. Sometimes they can, but I'm talking about those parents that just put their children into these schools. I mean, into acting. It's the same thing. They didn't choose to be Christian. You chose it for them. So that means they didn't choose Christ as their savior. So shouldn't there be this thing where you don't raise your children as Christians so they can choose Christ for themselves? Sort of like that Amish thing they do, where they let them, like, you know, live this sort of modern urban life. And if they don't like it, they can choose to be Amish, right? They have this thing in like Christian, I guess you guys send them sometimes at these churches you send the children to this other section, but maybe it should be like a neutral space where it's like more like a daycare where they don't learn anything Christian because you're not letting them choose Christ as their savior. It's almost like you guys have this, you're afraid of not, you're afraid of them not choosing Christ as them for themselves. Otherwise, why would you sort of influence them or make that choice for them so early? And if you don't have this sort of faith of them finding Christ, why do you expect other people to as well? Okay. It's almost like you're saying, like, your God, Yahweh, made it too difficult for people to discover Christ for themselves or to become Christian. Like, it's like you're undermining your own faith. Like, you guys don't have faith in your own religion, in a sense, because you would just not raise your children as Christian, and then you would have faith that they would, you know, make the right decision, but you don't have faith in that. Why? Why do you think it would be? Why do you think there's this strong possibility that they won't want to be Christian or that they won't accept Christ as their savior? Is it too difficult? Is it, then if it's too difficult, why did Yahweh make it so difficult? It's even more extreme because people will baptize their children into the faith. But that doesn't really make sense because it's like if people have to choose, why do you make them baptize babies and infants? That makes no sense either. It's like you're saying like they're pre-Christian or something, or you're saying that they are Christian, but they couldn't. You have to choose Christ as your savior to be Christian, but they can't because they're babies. Like you can't. Like, when did they consent to be baptized? Who says that that's what they wanted to do or what they were going to do? It just seems something's very off.